From October 6 through 22, 1937, a joint congressional committee of 7 senators and 12 members of the House held 17 days of hearings in Hawaii. They concluded that Hawaii fulfilled every requirement for statehood. A statehood plebiscite, a vote from the people of Hawaii, was recommended. However, no vote took place until November 1940, when by a 2-to-1 majority, Hawaii citizens voted in favor of statehood.
Aloha! Welcome to Hawaii!
Hawaii and Alaska are the only remaining incorporated territories which have not yet become states.
Beginning in 1935, 9 sets of committee hearings were held on bills for statehood prior to 1953.
Since Hawaii was a territory of the United States in 1945, the United Nations in 1946 listed Hawaii as a non-self-governing territory under the administration of the United States.
The first vote on Hawaii statehood was in 1947 when the House passed the bill on a 195 to 133 roll call vote.
The next floor action occurred in 1950 when the House again passed a statehood bill on roll call vote 261 to 111. Again, the Senate did not act.
In 1951, the House Interior and Insular Affairs Committee decided to wait for Senate action before considering similar measures. The Senate Interior and Insular Affairs Committee reported a bill favorably in 1951, but the Senate did not act either that year or in 1952.
Republican leaders supported Hawaiian statehood during 1953. President Eisenhower had called for favorable action in his State of the Union address. 9 Hawaii statehood bills were introduced during the session.
One of the witnesses favoring the bill was Tavares, chairman of the Hawaiian Statehood Commission, former Attorney General of Hawaii, and member of the Hawaii Constitution Convention, along with 13 representatives who had visited Hawaii with congressional committees.
On February 26, the subcommittee consulted on suggested amendments with Tavares and Herbert J. Slaughter of the Interior Department. After further consultation with Tavares and Slaughter, the subcommittee reported H.R. 49 to the full committee. An amendment approved by the subcommittee 7-6 would provide for approval of the state constitution by the president instead of by Congress. But not everyone was in favor. Hawaii's statehood faced many hurdles, mainly involving racist bigotry and communist allegations, along with various facts of organized labor.
Hawaii is full of communists, so if we let them into the Union, then Cuba's going to demand statehood.
Hey! That is a swell point. And another thing, those Hawaiians, they worship their ancestors. Ancestor worship. If we let them in, who's to say they're not going to start a war against us and side with their ancestors and not the American people?
Hey!
I know!
You know, the biggest problem was only 16.5% Caucasian of that entire population. That's the biggest problem.
Whoa, hey!
On December 22, 1945, Interior Secretary Harold Ickes endorses Hawaii's statehood as the official position of the Department of the Interior. Along with this endorsement, Hawaii is placed on the United Nations list of non-self-governing territories in 1946, promoting decolonization and creating an unexpected impediment to statehood. But Masaoka said that while the race question has not been brought to the fore publicly of late, covert fear of admitting into the Union a state whose residents are dominantly of Asian extraction has been one of the primary obstacles blocking congressional approval of statehood of Hawaii.
You know, Hawaii statehood is dangerous. We have non-Caucasians, we have Japanese, and they're mating like rabbits, and they're popping up everywhere. It's a danger to the Union, and I won't stand for it. No!
Then, in January of 1946, the U.S. House Committee on Territories held the first hearings on statehood for Hawaii since 1937. John R. Pillion of New York told the committee that to bring Hawaii into the Union would be to invite 2 Soviet agents to take seats in our U.S. Senate.
I, Senator John R. Pillion from the great state of New York, will not stand for the territory of Hawaii to enter in the Union. We cannot risk a Soviet overtake of the United States.
Yeah, John.
Thank you.
Chairman A.L. Miller of Nebraska of the House Interior and Insular Affairs Committee testified in support of statehood.
That's why I want Hawaii to enter the Union.
Saylor also testified in support of statehood.
And that's why I want Hawaii to enter the Union.
In 1947, further Hawaii statehood hearings are held in Washington, D.C. In June, the bill is brought to the House floor and passes 196 to 133. Then, Harry Truman calls for Hawaiian statehood in his 1948 State of the Union address. A third congressional statehood investigation is held in Hawaii for 12 days. The unanimous recommendation is immediate statehood. Unfortunately, the 80th Congress adjourned in 1948 without any Senate floor vote on the bill passed by the House. A joint Alaska-Hawaii admission bill was approved in 1955, but then recommitted by the House. Another bill was reported to the House and Senate floor in 1957, but again Congress adjourned before a vote. When Alaska becomes the 49th state in 1959, the 86th Senate moved quickly to consider Hawaii as well. Both political parties finally agreed to admit a 50th state as to maintain political balance in Washington. The Senate passes Hawaii's statehood bill 75 to 15. The House passes the bill 323 to 89. President Eisenhower makes the bill official by signing the proclamation and unveils a new 50-star flag. It was a happy day for all.